My name is Joanne Lee. I am a sophomore at MIT. I am currently studying math and computer science, and I play poker. I got into poker around middle school, actually. I remember going to a family party, and that was all that the adults played because it was a big thing in my family for some reason. And in high school, we had this week off of winter break where we can just go and teachers would offer week-long classes on anything they want. And one of our teachers, one of my favorite math teachers actually, he offered a class on poker. I joined the class because I thought he was a good teacher, but I didn't actually think that I would learn that much about poker given I was like, I already know how to play this game. And actually in that class he taught a lot about the probability and the mathematics behind poker, and I think that was super cool in that it taught me how to count outs, it taught me how to think probabilistically about the bets that I'm making, why I'm making them, and it allowed me to think through the game rather than just playing it like rock, paper, scissors or something. I enjoy playing poker because I think it's a game that requires a really good balance of luck and also skill, and I think not knowing what you will get or what your opponents have gives like an element of surprise to the game. I play poker a lot with the poker committee, so I'm a part of the MIT Poker Club, and each week we have a meeting. After our meeting we hang out, we play poker, and after each hand we discuss why we play the way that we do, and I think it's really cool because I can learn why people think certain ways, and sometimes it provides me a new perspective on how to think about a specific situation. After every hand, we usually talk about the strategies that we use and why we play the way we do. And also weekly, we're currently reading this book on how to play poker. It's called The Grinder's Manual. And each week we just discuss a chapter, and each chapter talks about 3-betting, countering 3-betting, and like pre-flop, post-flop, like what you should do and what you shouldn't do. I have played a few variations of poker. I started out with no limit hold'em, which is what most people play with 2 cards. And recently I've gotten more into pot limit Omaha, and I have played Omaha, I think pot limit, high, low, 8 or better. When I tell people that I play poker, a lot of them sort of jokingly and some of them seriously ask, like, are you a degenerate gambler? A lot of them just imagine people dressed in suits in like really fancy casinos throwing wads of cash around. When sizing a bet, I like to think of how likely my opponent is to call me. Do I actually want them to call me? And also like how much more equity I can get in this hand. So for example, let's say I have something really good, then I want to have a balance between like betting enough so I can get enough money, but also I don't want them to fold because I want the implied odds in a sense. So say you have a flush draw on after the flop, so that means that you have approximately 33% chance of winning the hand, and so now your opponent bets something. So if you just think about odds, then you should be willing to call if what you're paying is less than 33% of the entire pot, right? However, if you also think about it, in the 33% chance that you hit the flush, then you can bet even more and your opponent will probably still continue to bet. So then in a sense, you're willing to bet more than 33% of the pot right now because of the implied odds that will be available to you after you hit the flush. Playing poker, it certainly brought me a lot of friends. One of my closest friend groups at MIT right now is a poker club, which we always play poker together. And in terms of thinking, it made me realize that like a lot of decisions in my life are sort of like you want to do what's best for you in the long run instead of just thinking about your current state. So I think that taught me how to think about life in a different way. PokerStars is an online platform that you can use to play poker with friends all across the world. I play live poker with friends like maybe once or twice every week. And online poker, sometimes I just play when I'm procrastinating. Like I just open PokerStars and I just like join a quick tournament, and I'll do that like, I don't know, maybe hopefully like twice a week or less. Yeah. I don't ever really see myself stopping to play poker. I think I can see myself getting really busy and forgetting that poker exists for a little bit, but I think I can always, if I find free time, I would go on PokerStars, play online for a little bit, or like call up some friends and just play for fun, because I think it's a really like chill environment, and I think it's a really fun game. we taught this class of, I think entirely middle schoolers who just wanted to learn about poker. And at first we were like, wow, these kids are not gonna know anything about poker. But actually, like, a lot of them were like, they were really into the jargon, they like really know what we're talking about. And some of the topics we talked about were sort of hard, but they understood like when we talked about like what are the odds of betting and like how you bet the way you do. And I thought that was a really cool experience because I really like teaching and it made me really happy to see the kids learn.
Do you consider yourself a degenerate gambler?
No, I do not consider myself a degenerate gambler. That's what all degenerate gamblers say.